welcome everyone to this Aries new moon, the first sign of the season, first sign of the zodiac calendar. Perfect time to begin new projects. A fire sign, it's all about action. And I wonder if anyone has Aries in their chart, sun or moon or rising sign. I don't see any hands. Oh, yes. Who's that? Aries sun. Angelina. All right. So, I don't know if you feel ready to make some new changes, especially right now. If anybody's feeling that pull, maybe some of us have been sort of on the back burner and feeling a little tug to begin something new right now. With this fire sign, there is a lot of impetus to start something new, and qualities of Aries are leadership. They can be impulsive and they take action. It is the sign of the warrior. And if we think of goddesses related to this sign, I would think of Artemis or any of the indigenous goddesses. Maybe you can think of something too, a protector, warrior, standing up for other people and ready to speak their truth. In fact, if I was to think of an affirmation for Aries, it would be, I stand my ground. And very much the initiator, very courageous and protective, like I said, honorable, bold, fierce, competitive, spirited, passionate, self-actualized, and a leader, a visionary, assertive, passionate, because it is a fire sign. So if you think of the qualities of fire, transmutive, transformation, transformative. So we'll be, in the meditation, we'll be thinking of the element of fire. And if you have a candle handy, we can practice scrying, which is looking into the flame during the meditation. Oh, somebody was having trouble with the audio, but we are good. So again, welcome if anybody has just joined us. I will carry on again. So with this Aries sign too, being that it is a warrior, initiator, we are asked to connect to our inner power and take control of our lives, which includes taking responsibility for our actions. We're also reminded during this Aries new moon to have confidence in the choices we make and connecting with decisions that are in alignment with our deepest truth. So it's important to take your time to really connect authentically and the decisions needed to be made to help you move towards your truth. So making sure you are authentic. I love to read you a little poem in honor of the moon, new moon. This one is by Rumi. Anyone who knows me should learn to know me again, for I am like the moon. You will see me with a new face every day. Isn't that the thing? When you look up in the sky, the moon every 2.5 days is changing. It goes through all these phases. And I am starting a new program called Attune to the Moon. It's going to be a 30-day journey where you have journal prompts every 2.5 days. We're looking at the phase in a bit, the new phase in a bit more detail. So it's really important for you today to get very clear with your intention, so that I can invite you after this. I'll send an email to join me on this 30-day journey. So it's really good if you are on the cusp of wanting to start something new, or you have an idea but you're not quite sure, you need it solidified, or you need accountability during this month. So your intentions and your goals get affirmed and reaffirmed. And then during the full moon, it is a time to celebrate. So, and then the cycle comes around again. So as women, we're highly tuned to the phases of the moon. The sun is masculine, always shining. But the moon is going through all these phases. So it's really, you can honor your inner cycles within and be okay with days like during the dark moon and the new moon to be still and in silence and spending time reflecting, getting clear. And then during the full moon, it's a time to illuminate your ideas and celebrate. So I just want you to honor those cycles within as a woman, because we're always changing, right? So during our meditation, we will be connecting to your inner power, like I said, so that you can get clear on what your message is. If you want to lead, if you so choose to, like take on a leadership role, that could be within yourself in a relationship, or with clients or family members, whatever that looks like to you, and making bold choices so you feel aligned with your purpose, and embracing change so you can initiate determination and courage. We are at the first sign of the zodiac, so we are starting a new year in the zodiac, and Aries being the first sign at this time of spring. And we just went through the spring equinox. So we're noticing physical changes in our environment and being aligned and attuned with nature is a very important phase to be in, right? We can change with nature and take nature and the moon as a cue to harness our inner rhythms. So if everybody is settled and has a candle, if not, I will light one for everyone. But I'll be taking you now through a guided meditation. And this will be for about 10 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes. So whatever you need to do to get yourself comfortable, you can lie on the floor, close your eyes, or sitting up, whatever's the most comfortable for you. And I'm going to light our candle on this Aries new moon, time of new beginnings, the sign of the warrior, passionate, vivacious, protective, self-actualized, honorable, bold, fierce, with an affirmation of I stand my ground. Also an initiator of new ideas. The shadow side can be headstrong, impulsive, impatient, reckless, domineering, and argumentative. So with every sign, we do have a shadow side. So as always with these new moon ceremonies, looking at the qualities of each sign but also noticing the shadow sign. Where can we find harmony? Where can we back off if maybe we're being too headstrong? But using the initiator and the warrior archetype of the sign to move forwards and get things going and take action. So sitting up tall, if you are sitting, feet firmly planted on the ground, or if you're lying, getting yourself comfortable, feeling the support of Mother Earth on your feet or on your back. And looking at the candle, if you have one, before you close your eyes. Noticing the flame, the glow, the transformative power of fire, protecting, illuminating, sustaining, fierce. And as we close our eyes, honoring the stillness of the dark moon, time to go within, to be silent, to rest, to replenish, to gather in the quiet. Imagining us sitting in circle, as women have always done. No hierarchy, each woman as important as the next, honoring their journey as you honor your journey. And as we visualize the circle under this new moon, just in your mind's eye, sending energy to the woman on your left, sending her love and healing, compassion. And then the next woman, sending her the same temperance and love and gratitude. And then the next woman, sending that love. Until you make your way around the circle and feeling that compassion and passion and strength and courage coming right back into you. You may even feel your hand tingling. Noticing your breath. You may want to breathe in through the belly, expanding the belly and bringing that breath up into your chest and holding it, and then exhaling, tuning into the breath. This is not a time to be thinking. This This is a time just to be still, be present. And continuing on with that breath, and we'll do one more. Filling your belly. And out through the mouth. And as we sit here in our circle, imagine we have a fireplace in front of us, a hearth. You can see the flames flickering and feel the warmth on your face. We're giving gratitude to the element of fire. Transformation. This Aries is a mutable fire sign, so it's always changing. If anything comes up for you right now and under this new moon, anything that you want to offer to the fire, the element of fire, to transmute, you could offer it to the fire. You could also offer positive thoughts as well, and neutral thoughts, and imagine the fire, the element of fire, as a purifying element through which you see the world. So as we continue in this meditative space, a question comes to mind on leadership. Has there been an invitation for you to lead? If so, what does that look like? It can be something very small in relationship with someone. Or for those of you, it could be something big. thoughts do you have around leadership? Positive, negative, neutral? Just sit with that. And how do you view making decisions in your life? Would you rather leave it to someone else? Are you constantly asking for advice? Using the element of fire, offer your thoughts to the fire, either to transmute or ignite. Do you find yourself being impulsive at all? With making decisions or leadership, when you're initiating or protecting? It's using this time around the fire to hone in on these qualities of Aries. Again, offering your thoughts to the fire to transmute. So as we close this meditation, I want you first to give thanks to the element of fire. And as we come back into the space, gently and slowly Slowly open your eyes. Roll your shoulders. Noticing any changes around you in your environment. How you see things different. And if you take your journal and a pen, we'll use this opportunity to free write just whatever comes out with some questions that I'll ask you. No editing, just let it flow. Some of you are used to this. So the first question for today is, what does leadership mean to you? What does leadership mean to you? Is it mother-centered, nurturing? What does it look like to you? Is it an invitation? What does it look like? We will be writing for 5 minutes. The next question is, what would you do if fear and self-doubt were not holding you back in any decision making? Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. You're also busy writing. I was just making sure. Um, so, in making decisions or leading, how would you show up if fear and self-doubt weren't holding you back? What would you begin? For 5 minutes on that question. What would you begin if fear and self-doubt weren't holding you back? And again, this doesn't have to be some grandiose leadership role. It could be taking a trip. What are you willing to commit to is the next question. What are you willing to commit to? Feel free to use the chat if either you have a question or you want to be witnessed in something that you're stepping into on this Aries new moon, the sign of proactive, initiating, leading, spirited sign. Is there anything that you want to put out there to our circle to be witnessed? Another 5 minutes on this last question. Finishing up that last question. Couple more minutes. If you could just put your pens down, and I have 4 intentions, affirmations that I wrote down. And I want to know if any of these resonate with you. I honor my impulse as a driving and motivating force. I honor my impulse as a driving and motivating force. I listen to my inner voice as a divine inspiration. I listen to my inner voice as a divine inspiration. I accept leadership with the hand of grace. I accept leadership with the hand of grace. And finally, I open my heart and burn to trust. I open my heart to burn and trust. Any of those resonate with you? Second one. I seem to be having a lot of aeroplanes going over the sky this morning. That's why I keep turning my speaker off. I don't know if you can hear it. It's like suddenly there's all this movement. The second was I listened to my inner voice as a divine inspiration. Anyone else? First and last. I honor my impulse as a driving and motivating force. and I open my heart and burn to trust. Oh, all of them, especially the last. Oh, my mother's name was Grace, so I like the idea of accepting leadership with our hand. Yeah. Ah, 1, 2, and 4. I listen to my inner voice as a divine inspiration. Yes. I open my hand, my heart, and burn to trust. Nice. So, with the cycles of the moon, we get inspiration to rest, reassess, to shine, and then to rest again as the cycle comes around. And it's constant, right? I mean, there's the constant change. Who looks up into the sky at night when they remember to see what phase of the moon? Have any of you been doing this as a regular practice since we've been meeting under the new moon? Noticing the light, maybe when you get up, yeah, in the night, noticing if it's pitch black in your home, right? Sometimes I always go and see the full moon. Yeah, yeah. Has anybody had their birth chart done? No. Yes, Angelina. Yes. So I don't know what your moon is, Angelina, but right, you don't understand much. Moon in Virgo. Okay, yeah. So we have our right. My parents don't remember what time I was born. I'm with you because in England they don't put the time of birth on birth certificates. So I had the same thing. It's not on your birth certificate, right? Right. There is a way of getting around that. There's a guesstimation. You can make it at like 12 noon on the day that you were born. Although I know the moon changes every 2.5 days. So the most important, from my understanding, is yours. The sun, which is when you were born, the sun sign. The moon, when you were born, what moon phase was the moon, and then the rising, your rising sign. So those are the three most important. So you can get a guesstimation by using 12 noon. I had the same experience. I'd asked my mother when she was alive, and I couldn't remember what she said, but I went into a deep meditation over the weekend, and I remember when she said, so, yeah, very recent, my mom suddenly remembered. It's amazing, yeah. You can go into, you can remember, I mean, even if it's an hour, you know, if it's the difference between an hour, but I can send you some information on that too, if anybody's interested in looking, getting your chart and looking at it in more detail, because it can explain so much. We often just think it's the sun sign is the most important, but it's the rising and your moon. And if I don't know if anybody knows if they were born under a new moon or a full moon, but I've come to learn that I was born under a full moon, so I was meant to shine. I love that idea, right? That really gives you it just gives you a recognition. Maybe you're born under a new moon or a dark moon, and you're very, you're quiet, which is fine, right? So I think I've mentioned before, I was always more attracted to full moons. And I started doing the new moons last year because I recognize this is the time when all the new ideas are sparked. And then full moon is about celebrating. How can you calculate what moon phase you were born in? I can send you some information, Angelina, and you can put in your birth date, the time, and where you were born, obviously, in the world, and you can get a chart. It is very complicated, though. I'm not experienced in reading that, but certainly you can get the first three the moon, the sun, and the rising. So I'm going to be sending you some information with this recording about this new journey that I want to take you on. I've been meaning to do this for a couple of months, and I finally, because of this new moon in Aries, got to kick up the butt, my own kick up the butt, to share it with you. But it's a 30-day journey, so it starts today under the new moon in Aries and ends on the last day of the month before we go into the next new moon in Taurus. But it's an invitation to dive deeper into the phases with journal prompts and self-care rituals. So if you are embarking on something new, you need accountability or a nudge, you'll get something in your email every 2.5 to 3 days as a nudge to do something. It could be to write a poem, it could be to go outside, it could be, I've got to come up with all these ideas. I've got the tip of the iceberg. Self-care rituals to, take you to honor your journey, to help on your journey, because there's lessons, right, that come with every phase of the moon. And then at the full moon, how are you going to celebrate? What have what has come to fruition? What needs extra attention? Are you being impatient during this, the first few cycles of the moon where you need trust? So, I'll send you the information out on that. And looks like we're on the hour. And I just appreciate, okay. Yeah. I found out that my rising sign is in Libra. Waxing present constantly, yes. Beautiful. So fascinating. So any lasting thoughts anybody wants to drop into the chat? Now is your time as we come to a close on this Aries new moon, which actually it actually happened last night here in Los Angeles. I think it was about 11:45 p.m. I think, or no, don't quote me on that, but we're already in the phase. This theme is good timing as I'm deciding whether or not to buy a house in Wales. One of my brothers lives in Wales. So, like I said, I'll be sending something out to you in your email. Oh, small world. Look at that. Wales. And also, looking at the elements, of the signs is very important too. Like if you're born under a water sign, you're more in touch with your emotions. So look out for that email. So I just wanted to thank you all for gathering under this new moon in Aries. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule. Thank you, everybody. So let's be in touch with what we want to plant and what we want to see grow, and what choices that are we at the cusp right now. So drink plenty of water, move your body. We've been still for an hour. Maybe some of you are going out for a walk. Enjoy nature at this beautiful time of the year when things are sprouting and we can see the trees blossoming, and send some love and light out into the world. Of course, as always, keeping those who desperately need love and compassion and safety and warmth in our hearts. Until we meet again.